Welcome to the deep dive. You know how this works. You send us the stuff you're curious about, maybe articles, weird internet threads, things you've heard.
And we dive in, we try to pull out the really interesting nuggets.
Exactly, sort of a shortcut through all the noise, right? So you can get the key info, maybe find something surprising.
And honestly, sometimes the most everyday things have the wildest stories attached. Keeps it fun for us too.
Totally. Which brings us to today. We're diving into something you probably have in your wallet right now. Or maybe you just used one. The $1 bill.
Ah, yes. Seems simple, doesn't it? Just a buck.
Right. But hold it up, really look at it. It's covered in symbols. And where you have symbols, you often get, well, interpretations. And sometimes conspiracy theories.
It's fascinating how this common piece of paper has become such a focal point for debate and some pretty imaginative thinking.
It really is. So we've been sifting through sources, descriptions of the actual symbols, what the government officially says they mean.
Going way back.
Yeah, the historical context, but also, the common conspiracy theories that swirl around it. There are quite a few.
Oh, yes. The web is full of them.
So our mission today is to kind of untangle that. What were these symbols meant to convey, according to the people who designed it?
And then how have those meanings been, let's say, reinterpreted? What are the alternative stories people tell about the dollar bill?
We want to give you, the listener, a good grasp of both sides, the official story and the more underground narratives.
It's about understanding the layers, really. Why these symbols, and why do they lend themselves to such, well, elaborate theories?
Okay, let's get into it. Where should we start? Maybe the most obvious thing on the back. The Great Seal.
Sounds good. The Great Seal of the United States. It's got two sides represented on the back of the dollar. Let's start with the eagle side.
The bald eagle. Classic American symbol. Why an eagle, officially?
Well, it was chosen way back in 1782. It's meant to stand for strength, freedom, the sovereignty of the new nation. Pretty standard national symbolism, really.
And it's holding stuff, right? In its talons.
It is. Look closely. In its right talon, the viewer's left, it holds an olive branch. That's the symbol of peace.
Okay, peace first.
Right. And notice it has 13 leaves and 13 olives. We'll come back to 13. But the eagle's head is turned towards the olive branch.
Signaling a preference for peace.
That's the idea. But in its left talon, it holds 13 arrows. That's the symbol of war, or military readiness.
So we want peace, but we're ready to fight if we have to.
Precisely. A message of peace through strength, essentially. Standard for the time.
Makes sense. Okay, that's one side of the seal. But then you flip the metaphorical coin, or rather, look at the other circle on the bill.
And you get the pyramid?
Yeah, the pyramid with the floating eye above it. This is where things start to get a bit weirder, wouldn't you say? Less straightforward.
This is definitely where the conspiracy theories really latch on. But there is an official explanation for this imagery, too.
Okay, let's hear the official version first. What's the deal with the unfinished pyramid?
So this design element actually came from earlier proposals for the seal. Officially, the pyramid signifies strength and duration. Permanence.
Like the pyramids of Egypt, built to last.
Kind of, yeah. And the fact that it's unfinished, that's meant to symbolize the ongoing work of building the nation. It suggests future potential growth, that the country isn't complete yet.
Okay, interesting. And the eye, floating above it in a triangle, the all-seeing eye.
Officially, that's the Eye of Providence. It's meant to represent divine guidance or oversight watching over the nation. The triangle, or glory around it, reinforces that divine aspect.
Divine providence, like God watching over the U.S.
That's the intended official meaning, yes. A symbol of divine favor and watchfulness. It was a common symbol back then, actually, not unique to the U.S. seal.
Right. But common symbol isn't how everyone sees it, is it? That eye on the pyramid is probably the #1 thing people point to when they talk about secret societies.
Absolutely. This is ground zero for the Masonic conspiracy theories.
Freemasons, right? That fraternal order with all the symbols and rituals.
Exactly. Conspiracy theorists often claim the all-seeing eye is actually a Masonic symbol, representing the grand architect of the universe, which is a Masonic concept for a supreme being.
And the pyramid itself, also Masonic.
They often link that too, yes. While pyramids aren't exclusively Masonic, within the context of the theory, it's seen as another piece of evidence pointing towards Masonic influence, or even control over the founding of the nation and its symbols.
And then you hear about the Illuminati. Are they the same as the Masons in these theories?
Often conflated, yes. Historically, the Illuminati was a specific, short-lived Bavarian secret society in the late 1700s, distinct from Freemasonry. But in modern conspiracy lore, the name Illuminati has become a kind of catch-all term for a shadowy elite, often linked with or seen as using Freemasonry, supposedly pulling the strings behind world events.
So the dollar bill symbols become like their secret signs, hidden in plain sight.
That's the core idea in many of these theories, that the eye and pyramid are signals, markers of this hidden control network.
Which ties into the whole New World Order idea too, doesn't it?
It does, directly. That phrase itself, New World Order, or NWO, refers to a theorized secret push towards a single world government or totalitarian global control.
And the pyramid and eye fit into that hell.
Well, the unfinished pyramid is seen by theorists as representing the incomplete work of establishing this new world order. It's still under construction, so to speak.
And the eye, watching over the project.
Exactly. The detached, overseeing eye represents the hidden power, the Illuminati or whoever, guiding the creation of this new global structure. It turns the official meaning of growth and potential into something much more sinister.
It's amazing how the same image can be read in such opposite ways.
It really highlights the power of interpretive frameworks.
Okay, let's talk about the number 13. You mentioned it with the olives and arrows. It seems to be everywhere on this bill.
It is. You've got the 13 stars above the eagle's head.
Right.
13 stripes on the shield on the eagle's chest.
Okay.
13 arrows, 13 olive leaves, 13 olives. And on the other side, 13 steps or layers on the pyramid.
Wow, okay. So officially, why 13 so many times?
Simple history, really. It represents the original 13 colonies that declared independence and formed the United States.
Just a straightforward historical reference.
That's the official explanation. Each 13 is a nod to the founding states.
But you can probably guess where this is going. 13 has other connotations, doesn't it?
It certainly does. In popular superstition, 13 is often seen as an unlucky number.
Right, like Friday the 13th.
Exactly. So conspiracy theorists often seize on this. Instead of seeing a historical reference, they see the repetition of 13 as inherently ominous or suspicious.
Suggesting what? Bad luck? Or something more specific?
Some theories link it to negative spiritual forces, or sometimes it's tied back to the secret societies again, perhaps implying a specific number of key families or degrees within the supposed hidden structure. It takes a neutral historical fact and imbues it with sinister meaning.
So a number becomes evidence, just like the images.
Precisely. Every detail is potentially significant within that framework.
Okay, what about the words? There's Latin on there too. Sounds very grand. Annuit coeptis.
Annuit coeptis, yes. It's above the pyramid, generally translated as, he or providence has favored our undertakings.
Sort of like a divine blessing on the whole enterprise.
That's the idea. Linking back to the Eye of Providence, then, below the pyramid, you have Novus Ordo Seclorum.
That one sounds familiar. New Order.
New Order of the Ages, that's the common translation. It signifies the beginning of a new era, the American era, distinct from the old orders of Europe.
A new chapter in history.
Right. And the third motto on the ribbon in the eagle's beak is E pluribus unum.
Out of many, one. I know that one.
Probably the most famous, representing the union of the many states into one nation. So, officially, divine favor, a new historical era, and national unity.
Seems reasonable. But I bet Novus Ordo Seclorum raises some eyebrows in the conspiracy world.
Oh, absolutely. That phrase is often presented as Exhibit A for the New World Order conspiracy.
Because it literally says New Order.
Pretty much. Theorists argue, see? They put it right there, a new order. They interpret of the ages, not just as a new historical era, but as a planned future global order.
Even though the phrase comes from Virgil, ancient Roman poetry, right? It wasn't invented for the seal.
Correct. It was a classical reference repurposed. But in the context of the theory, that origin is less important than the perceived literal meaning fitting the NWO narrative.
And Annuit coeptis, the divine favor one. Any alternative readings there?
Some link the he who favors the undertaking not to the traditional god or providence, but back to the Masonic Grand Architect, again reinforcing the alleged Masonic connection.
So even the blessings get reinterpreted.
Everything can be woven into the narrative, even the stars above the eagle.
The 13 stars, what about them?
Well, look at how they're arranged. The official documents don't specify a particular pattern, just 13 stars, but on the bill they form a shape.
What shape?
You can connect the dots, so to speak, and see a six-pointed star, a hexagram, also known as the Star of David.
Huh, okay. And the significance of that in these theories?
Again, it's seen as potentially non-coincidental. Some link the hexagram to occult symbolism, or sometimes, again, back to Freemasonry, which does use various geometric symbols, or sometimes it's linked, perhaps anti-Semitically, to Jewish influence, playing into older conspiracy tropes.
So even the arrangement is seen as a potential clue.
If you're looking for hidden meanings, you can find patterns anywhere, it seems.
Okay, so we have the eye, the pyramid, the number 13, the Latin phrases, the star formation. Theorists bundle all this together. What's the supposed motive? Why would anyone embed these secret messages in currency, according to them?
There are a few common lines of reasoning proposed. One is almost like subliminal programming. The idea that constantly seeing these symbols subtly influences the population makes them more accepting of this hidden agenda without realizing it.
Like brainwashing through your wallet.
Sort of. Another idea is that it's communication between the initiated. A way for members of these secret groups to recognize their influence, to signal to each other, like a secret handshake, but on money.
Okay, I see.
And a third angle is almost prophetic, that the symbols are there to foreshadow future events, to outline the plan for the New World Order, maybe as a boast or as a kind of magical or ritualistic act to help bring it about.
Wow. So controlling the masses, signaling to insiders, or predicting causing the future. Quite the range.
It paints a picture of a very deliberate, very patient, and very powerful hidden hand at work.
It's definitely a compelling narrative. It connects dots. It offers an explanation for things. But what about the pushback? What are the counter arguments, the more, let's say, conventional or skeptical interpretations?
Well, the main counter argument really rests on historical context and lack of concrete proof. As we mentioned, many of these symbols weren't unique or secret at the time.
Like the Eye of Providence.
Exactly. It appeared in art and symbolism long before the U.S. existed, usually with that divine meaning. The pyramid, too, was used symbolically in various contexts. They were part of the common visual language of the era, especially among educated people familiar with classical and religious symbolism.
So the founders were just using symbols that were meaningful and available to them at the time.
That's the most straightforward historical interpretation. They were trying to create a powerful symbolic language for a new nation, using established elements to represent ideals like strength, divine blessing, a new beginning, and unity. It's what nations do. They create seals, flags, anthems filled with symbols.
It's symbolic language, not necessarily secret code.
Precisely. And crucially, there's no actual documentation, no letters, no minutes from meetings, no credible whistleblower accounts from the time that definitively state, yes, we put these symbols here as part of a secret Masonic or Illuminati plot.
The evidence for the conspiracy interpretation is, well, the interpretation itself, connecting the dots.
Largely, yes. It relies on finding patterns, assigning specific, often preconceived meanings to symbols, and then weaving them into a larger narrative. While it's intricate, it generally lacks the kind of verifiable external evidence historians would require to accept it as fact.
So it seems the $1 bill is this incredible sort of Rorschach test.
That's a great way to put it.
You can look at it and see symbols of American history and ideals, the official story.
Right, national pride, foundational principles.
Or you can look at the exact same images and numbers and words and see evidence of a vast hidden conspiracy controlling the world.
Exactly. It becomes this canvas for projecting broader beliefs, anxieties, or worldviews. It shows how powerfully symbols can resonate and how open they are to interpretation, especially when there's an element of mystery or ambiguity.
It really makes you realize how much meaning we pack into simple things, or how much meaning we look for.
It's a very human tendency, isn't it? To find patterns, to seek explanations, especially for things that seem complex or hidden. The dollar bill is just a fantastic everyday example of that process in action.
So, wrapping this up, we've seen the official meanings, the eagle balancing peace and strength, the pyramid representing endurance and growth, the eye symbolizing providence, the motto speaking of divine favor, a new era and unity, and 13 marking the original colonies.
And then we've explored the conspiracy theories, the Masonic and Illuminati connections tied to the eye and pyramid, the ominous interpretations of 13, Novus Ordo Seclorum as a direct NWO reference, and even the star pattern as a hidden sign.
With suggested motives ranging from mind control to secret communication.
But countered by historical context, the common usage of these symbols at the time, and the lack of hard evidence for a deliberate coded conspiracy.
It leaves you thinking, doesn't it? This single dollar bill captures so much history, national identity, and this enduring human fascination with hidden meanings and secret plots.
It absolutely does. It's a reminder that symbols are powerful, and the stories we tell about them say as much about us, perhaps, as they do about the symbols themselves.
Maybe a final thought for you listening. What other everyday symbols do you encounter? Logos on your phone, street signs, architecture. What are their official meanings? And are there other stories, other interpretations attached to them? It makes you wonder what narratives we're swimming in all the time.
A fascinating question to ponder. What else is hiding in plain sight?